in Group 6, the best group, and our topic from the reading was the Victorian era or the Elizabethan era.
Elizabethan people loved entertainment. The more entertainment, the better. Feasts, fairs, and festivals were all common occurrences and were celebrated during specific times of the year, most of which were dictated by the church and religious festivals. Elizabethan entertainment was extremely important to people who lived in this era. Entertainment was popular whenever there was something to celebrate a wedding, victories, and festivals. Court entertainment was regular, often a nightly occurrence combined with feasts, jousts, and banquets, often accompanied by music and dancing. Some other types of events are feasts, which are large, elaborately prepared meals, usually for many people, and often accompanied by court entertainment. Banquets, a ceremonial dinner honoring a specific guest. Fairs, the annual summer fair was often a large event. Plays, starting as plays enacted in town squares, followed by the actors using the courtyards and taverns or inns, followed by the first theaters, and then the introduction of indoor theaters called playhouses. Festivals, celebrating church festivals. Dancing, mostly enjoyed by the upper class, royalty, and nobility. Games and sports, which included archery, bowling, cards, dice, hammer throwing, and wrestling. Animal sports, including bear and bull baiting, and dog fighting. The people really loved their entertainment. The more entertainment, the better.
The two major religions in Elizabethan England were Catholic and Protestant religions. The convictions and beliefs in these different religions were so strong that they led to several executions and resulted in a religious crisis during the Elizabethan era. However, Protestantism had finally been established as a national religion the year before Shakespeare was born, in April of 1564. Now, I know no one is asking themselves how this affected theater, but let me explain. Although Queen Elizabeth was Protestant, she firmly believed that people should be allowed to practice Catholicism without fear, as long as it presented no threat to peace in the realm or her rule over England. However, many Catholics plotted against Queen Elizabeth and wanted to replace Elizabeth with her cousin, Mary, Queen of Scots. This resulted in religious crisis and religious doubt, which can be seen numerous times throughout a number of Shakespeare's plays. For example, in the Shakespearean play King Lear, there is no doubt the world of Lear is a non-Christian world, in a story where faith is summed up by ancient deities and superstition. Therefore, there is no argument when we say the religious crisis during Shakespearean's lifetime affected his writing and raised the universal question of existence.
There are 6 main social classes thought to be established by God himself. First, the monarch. The monarch was the ruler of a nation, usually a king or queen, therefore the highest ranking one, usually born into this class. Queen Elizabeth was the monarch in the Elizabethan era. Nobility. This was one of the highest social classes, second to the monarch. The last included whole families. Heads of these families were dukes, earls, or barons. The class contained all of the lords and ladies of the monarch's land. To be in this class, you must be born into it or appointed by a monarch. During the Elizabethan era, there are a few noble families, approximately 55 during Shakespeare's lifetime. Due to the fact that Queen Elizabeth could not appoint new families to replace the ones that died out, viewing nobles was a threat to her power. Gentry. This class belonged to knights, gentlemen and gentlewomen, and squires of the kingdom. People of this class rarely worked with their hands. One of the lower classes achieved this rank by obtaining great amounts of wealth. Merchants. The merchants were prosperous in the Elizabethan era. They commonly made their wealth through sales of wool and exotic goods and other items of commerce. As they gained reputation, they were capable of drastically increasing the prices of the products that they would sell, claiming that it was all for the benefit of the kingdom. Yeomen. This class was comprised of common citizens with just enough money to support their families, but any misfortune would potentially cause them to plummet into poverty. Laborers. This is the class containing carpenters, peasants, and those who do not own land, like shoemakers and other similar positions. These citizens usually did not have enough money to support a family. During the Elizabethan era, one of the first government-sponsored welfare programs was implemented to attempt aid to laborers. In the Elizabethan era, while it was possible to marry someone in another class, it was generally frowned upon for one to marry another of a lower class, and therefore rarely occurred. Usually citizens stayed in their own social class. While one usually never changed classes, it was possible to. Expectations to marriage. On rare occasions, people of different classes might get married for the following reasons. A noble might marry a famous or rich merchant because their status is almost equal. A parent might force their child to marry someone from a different class for financial security.
During Queen Elizabeth's 45-year reign, London became a cultural and commercial center where learning and literature thrived. Queen Elizabeth also recognized the importance of the arts and was a great supporter. Many of England's greatest playwrights were active during her reign, including William Shakespeare. With her permission, professional theaters were built in England for the first time, attracting 15,000 theater-goers per week in London, where London was only a city of 150,000 people. During Queen Elizabeth's reign, she also stood against the Puritans, a religious corporation who shut down all theaters in London. They claimed that the theaters were a major cause of the plague. However, the real reason why the Puritans shut down the theaters was because people spent more of their time in theaters watching plays instead of praying. Queen Elizabeth reacted to this by forming her own group of performers, where her goal was to bring the law of theaters back into business for her people. Shakespeare's works were greatly influenced by Queen Elizabeth, and she changed society so that people like Shakespeare could be successful. She inspired A Midsummer Night's Dream and was interested in theater, which made it popular. Overall, Queen Elizabeth's reign had a positive effect on productions of plays.